Wow, that is pretty cool. I love those image spots. You're going to see more coming up. Meanwhile, Michelle Malkin has promised to be on our show today. In fact, I wrote her down for this segment, and she is here. She's from Michelle Malkin Investigates on CRTV. Hey, Michelle.
Good morning.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Ainsley. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you. Michelle, we want to talk to you about a case. You're out in Colorado a lot, and there's a case of somebody who's in this country illegally, suspected in a deadly hit and run. As it turns out, rather than hand him over to ICE because he was in the country illegally, apparently he posted the $25,000 bond and got out. And now there are all sorts of calls that this is not how it's supposed to work ultimately.
Yeah, this is not by accident. This is by design. These sanctuary outlaw policies are par for the course, and they have been for many years in the city and county of Denver and outlying suburbs. So the idea that these disingenuous sheriff's officials are now going to investigate to figure out what happened, this is intentional. And in fact, this particular case is the third of 3 cases in the last 5 months where the sheriff's office and the Denver County Jail have ignored ICE detainers and put dangerous people out on the streets. The city and county of Denver are safe spaces for all sorts of criminal aliens and deportation fugitives. And I think it's about time that these very officials who are responsible for endangering law-abiding citizens on the streets and on the highways of Colorado be held accountable. It is a federal felony, guys, under Title 8, Section 1324 and 1327 of the U.S. Code to harbor, aid, abet, conceal, and encourage illegal immigration. And I can't think of a more textbook definition than of sanctuary policies than those 5 conditions.
Yeah. So this man was not wanted on any warrants, but he was in this country illegally. And now the sheriff's department out in Colorado is saying, yeah, we screwed this up. We got to have an investigation.
Yeah, and let me talk about that warrant talking point, because you hear it a lot from liberal police chiefs and liberal sheriffs. They say, oh, well, we were helpless. Our hands were tied because we didn't have warrants issued in these cases. But the fact is that Obama, open borders Democrats, and radical judges, social justice judges, have undermined the immigration detainer, which has been a useful and effective tool for keeping criminal aliens off the streets. They misinterpret these open borders zealots, misinterpret the court cases, many of which, of course, have upheld immigration detainers because they include probable cause reasons within the forms. The entire immigration history, criminal violations are all listed there. And it is because of the administrative efforts by the Obama administration to undermine that tool that we have so many people who are killing people with their guns, their knives, and their cars across this country. 300 jurisdictions have sanctuary policies in place. This happens every single day in America.
Well, by the way, let's just switch gears. That is outrageous, and that's what the president's going to be facing as he squares off in California to visit the wall and go to a fundraiser. There's a whole bunch of people out there who believes the president's off base when he talks about sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton was in India giving, I imagine, a high-paid speech. And I believe that this is worse. This statement is worse than her remarks about deplorables. Listen to how she describes Trump voters.
If you look at the map of the United States, there's all that red in the middle where Trump won. I win the coasts, I win, Illinois and Minnesota, places like that. But what the map doesn't show you is that I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's gross domestic product. So I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward, and his whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards. You didn't like black people getting rights, you don't like women, getting jobs, you don't want to, see that Indian American succeeding more than you are. Whatever your problem is, I'm going to solve it.
Do you believe that? Can you put that into, wrap your head around those remarks?
Brian, I think you're right. This is way worse than deplorable. And also, I think it's going to be a great ad for Republicans. Look, hell hath no fury like a Hillary scorned. I call her blamery now. And the idea, ask any Republican man if their wives are somehow submissive little tools that simply vote the way they tell them to. My husband laughed. Ha ha ha, you've got to be kidding me. And I can't think of a better way to motivate, for example, Pennsylvania women to come out today than have Hillary denigrate their minds and their free will. Amazing.
Has she forgotten from where she came? I mean, she's originally from Arkansas. What she's talking about, yeah, maybe she votes democratically always, but there are a lot of people, the Trump base, that live in her former state. Has she forgotten? Has she become an elitist?
Well, she always has been, I think, and it goes all the way back to her statement, remember, where she denigrated stay-at-home moms because she didn't want to stay home and bake cookies and serve milk. Winning strategy there, Hillary. Keep talking.
And she did it in another country, what makes it worse. I know politically Republicans benefit, but in the big picture, the country just stays divided. Just nothing but to hurt everybody, especially her. Michelle Malkin, thanks so much.
Thanks, Michelle.
We'll see you on CRT.